just do what they usually do. They get everyone involved, and that's just sort of been, what has made them successful all year long. So it's tough for Siakam, or at least for the Raptors, to pick their spots and say, okay, Siakam, here, give us 12 in this first quarter, or whatever the case may be.
17 from Siakam. I mean, he's not impressing me at all. I mean, 6 of 16
in 43 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, he took 16 shots. I mean, that's got to go up. Maybe not by a whole lot, but somewhere around 19 or 20. That's always been my thing with him. And I thought that we were going to see the Siakam game today. We could see it in Game 3, though.
I mean, the Raptors. Listen, Nurse knew how important this game was. He had 3 of his guys go over 40. Pretty much had almost 5 guys go 40 minutes. I mean, they knew this was a must-win game, and they did everything they could. At the end of the day, it wasn't enough, and they're honestly not even real knock to them. I mean, I gave the Raptors all the respect in the world going into this series. It just feels like the Celtics are a better team, and they have more talent, deeper from 1 to 5, and by that I mean starting lineup. Right. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good your bench is when the starters are doing what they're doing.
All right, do we just go ahead? Should we just skip the rest of this and do a Heat preview?
No, not yet.
I can't listen. I hope that's
those would be the ultimate. My ultimate troll jobs at NBC, Jimmy. When the Patriots would start the playoffs, we would immediately do a Super Bowl preview in the first round. We would skip all 3 opponents. We did it one time wholeheartedly, and we did a Pats Seahawks preview because you knew that they were going to skip all the way through. The Celtics' path isn't certain, but at this point, I mean, I don't have any clue what Toronto does coming back. Like, Bobby, you're the professor. I mean, if it's a chess move sort of game, I don't know what moves they have. And really this came down to it. Celtics shot great in the game 1. You knew if they didn't have as good a shoot, but they shot horribly. They were 30-something% through 3 quarters, and Toronto was shooting better. So, I mean, are we really looking at Toronto has to shoot 55% from the floor and the Celtics have to be ice cold, and that's the only way they win a game? I'm trying to figure what else.
No, it's not. It's not cold shooting. And we came out of game 1 saying, oh, it's a hot game for Boston. It's a bad game for Toronto. But this is who Boston is as a defense. They cut off your 3-point shooting. Yeah. And it's been ultra low for Toronto so far, but I think it's indicative of how the Celtics are cutting off that line. You even see on that last Van Fleet play, he's always 3-4 steps behind the line, and he can't drill from there. He's got to be right on that 3-point line. The only one I can think of is that Ibaka one. Like, that's it, and it's not one that's going to flip a game.
That seemed obvious heading into this game, and I'm very surprised that it didn't happen.
And you drop this one, and all of a sudden they're in a much tougher spot to win the series from. The Celtics didn't play great today at all, and I think we have to highlight that more. Yeah, they played horrific outside of Tatum, Smart, and a late burst from Walker. They come out of this one with a few bumps and bruises, so maybe that's something that Toronto can continue to chip away at if Kemba keeps struggling. But they got everything to go their way today, including the calls. That was a huge break on the Smart out-of-bounds play late. I didn't like the reversal on the Smart foul that gave Toronto an extra point. And overall, I thought the second half, they got a good amount of free throws after the 0 in the first half.
Smart one, even though I think it was the right call.
Yeah, see, that's what drove me insane about what Jason
I don't like the replays. I don't.
Complaining about calls, and it's like, you went to the free throw line 14 times. Yeah. This is the night you should just give it a rest and maybe play the next game.
Yeah, that's what
the first half was,
he did it. He also played a ton. We talked about, one of the reasons I think they can withstand Hayward is because it's not the minutes and the shots aren't going to Ogilvy or Langford. They're just being distributed between Smart, Hayward, and Brown, and so are the minutes, so to speak. I mean, Hayward, 42 minutes tonight. That's a ton. He was in that second half. I felt like the whole time. So I'm wondering how long. Tatum. Yeah.
Yep, Tatum set up Smart on quite a few of those threes to start the fourth quarter. He's rotating in with the bench. Semi, Grant, Wanamaker, all bad in this game. Garbage from them offensively.
I don't even remember Wanamaker doing a thing.
And you know why? No. Why? Because Tatum's in there with them and just does everything.
Yeah.
So, the bench rotations don't even matter. So that's such a great point, John. They just rotate Tatum in all games. So the rotation
the whole time. And you're right. When he was out with that lineup, it was just the Tatum show. But you're right. Wanamaker didn't have a field goal attempt. Okay. Grant Williams had 2. Semi had 3. And Rob Williams had 5 all in the first quarter. The second half was all starters. years, pretty much.
So this is Stevens tightening it up like we want to see.
Yes, and you had to in this game because you couldn't play around with it. I was even saying, like, there's a lot of Grant Williams minutes here, but you had to do something because you're right. There wasn't a lot being given out there. I'm going to look the minutes across the board. 42, 38 for Kemba, 39 for Smart, 36 for Jalen. I mean, they went wire to wire for this one pretty much.
The only reason Grant got so much.
You know?
Yeah. Grant only got so much because of the fouls.
Yep. Grant did not. I wasn't impressed with Grant, at least on the defensive end, but I'm not going to harp on him today. But listen, the Celtics, they can afford to go deep minutes-wise with these guys like Tatum and Brown and Smart because they're not the old big three that the Celtics fans are used to when Doc Rivers had to manage minutes from 35-year-olds. You know, these guys are 22, 21, 23. They can go 40 and they can be fine. So put them the hell out there and let them do their thing. I'm totally fine with them playing at 40. It's, you know, that's
you don't want to do
they
it.
Should be doing that.
You don't want to do it every. That's the thing is you
no,
want to have.
No, yeah, but John, you had to do it tonight. Yeah. You had to do it tonight.
And they did.
Game one, you didn't have to.
Ideally, sure. Ideally, yeah.
When Hayward went down, I was like, this isn't going to affect the Celtics in this series. This is for the next series because you're going to have to ask these starters to start adding up more of their minutes, 38, 36, 37, 40 plus.
Right.
That's going to be the norm in this series because you need those guys to bridge the gap between the second unit and the first. You need Tatum to mix it in with those guys in that second unit. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And again, to Jimmy's point, these guys are young enough, and also they're experienced enough. Right. They know what happened last year. They know that winning the first game doesn't mean anything because they lost 4 in a row against the Bucks. They know that they were a quarter away from the NBA Finals.
They bucked the trend, 5-0 to 6-0.
6-0. It goes along.
Now we don't have to hear about that anymore.
Right. All that experience.
What's amazing, again, it's 6-0 with probably 3 crap games, maybe, 3.5. It's,
Well, this is the difference between last year and this year. I just said I hate that, but I'm going to do it. Right. Defense. The defense sucked last year.
Yeah.
This year, it's phenomenal, and that's what Steve was talking about. Yeah, it'll always help you grind out a game.
Yeah,
and they're always great defensively, no matter who's in there. I talk about the 3 crap bench players. They at least give you good defense.
Right.
All 3 of them. So no matter who they have out there, there's always – and that's why, like, this Gasol, Smart – the Celtics don't have any matchup issues. They try to go at Kemba in this one. It worked a few times, but it's not a game plan worthy matchup. Like, it's not Isaiah. We've been saying that.
I mean, when you can comfortably put your 6'4" guard on their 6'9" best player and call that a matchup that you think you're okay with, obviously you're not super worried about matchups there, and that's where they are right now. It's that they're
chess pieces.
This was a classic. Right, Tatum and defense sort of game gets you through when everything else isn't going well. Let's switch gears a little bit because we did mention Hayward. We got a less than encouraging update from Brad talking about him earlier this week, saying his gait is, I think he said gait is still off. It's been a couple of weeks. Just talking to everybody. We talked to Dr. Jess Flynn as well about it. I think the 4 weeks was optimistic. I knew it. And certainly for a grade 3 ankle sprain is probably on the very early side. I think we're looking at 6 weeks or not at all for Hayward. And I think people just have to start accepting that reality that white knight's not walking through the door for the conference finals or final. I don't know that it happens at all at this point.
Well, there's Downer John. He's back, everybody.
That's what I
mean, let's be real.
Finals, realistically.
No, I mean,
rush him. Why rush him into this?
It's not rushing. You've really got. It's like, can you meet us at least, late in the first round, late in the conference finals if they get there? And I don't think that's going to happen either.
Yeah,
he's coming back, isn't he? That's probably a little optimistic.
He's coming to the bubble, but the general vibe was he's not a guy who's working his way back into getting on the court right now. He's still in the extremely early stages of
what you're saying.
Of his development. He's still not walking right. There's no way a guy who isn't walking correctly is going to play playoff.
Is that what gait is? Is that Josue did the Google?
Yeah, I had to Google that. Was that the only one? I'd never heard the word gait before.
Right. Well, you talk about
GAIT.
Gait. All right. So that's definitely a negative.
I still don't know, and I didn't Google it.
Yeah, he literally can't go to the refrigerator right now without limping. Okay, he's not playing playoff basketball.
Oh, and it looked bad. It did when he walked off the court, it was very bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a shame.
And don't forget too, when he is, cleared for practice or cleared for contact, it's not like he's going to go in there and play 25, 30 minutes right off the bat. They're going to work him in slowly. He's going to play 8 minutes or 12 minutes, and he may even throw the team off. So listen.
By then, you're at such a consequential stage.
Out of mind right now. Let's just let Gordon Hayward do Gordon Hayward's thing, and if he's back, great. If you're the Celtics, you're going to war with who you have on the team right now. They've shown so far that they haven't needed Gordon Hayward, right, so far. So just keep it that way. Listen, when you talk about whoever they play next, let's assume that they do advance, and I don't want to jinx anything. If they do advance, it's the Bucks or the Heat. You can't tell me that.
Jimmy, just say that they're going to advance.
They're going to.
You need to do it.
You can't tell me that this Celtics roster without Gordon Hayward isn't good enough to beat the Heat. I know the Heat are tough, but they can still go head to head.
Oh, come on! You're going to not call this series over, but you're saying the Heat are moving on?
No. I'm just saying. I think the Bucks might be more difficult.
They might be,
but I think the Heat can beat the Bucks. So
they can. I think that series is almost certainly going the distance, and I was obviously wrong about this one. Miami came out and took a statement in that game.
Predictions, Bobby.
Yeah,
I think the tougher matchup for the Celtics.
I will fade everyone.
It's our resident Barkley here.
Who said sweep in round one? 4-0. Yeah. I got that one, so I'll be 1-1.
Yeah, you will be 1-1.
Yeah,
you definitely got this one wrong.
What else we got? What else we got for this one? We got a lot of people in the room, so let's keep going. What else you guys like?
I mean, what are some people chiming in with some comments?
They are, but it
sounds like Nick Nurse is complaining about something. Is that true?
Is he?
I don't know. A missed call. I saw somebody shoot up the message on YouTube.
I don't know. Let's check it out.
Do you guys think that the Miami Heat are a tougher opponent? I feel like they are compared to the Bucks. I don't know. I just don't believe in the Bucks anymore.
Like, you don't believe it? They went down 1-0.
Yeah,
come on.
Before that, I didn't like their chances against this team. It's just too many.
Here's the thing.
Like who?
Same things I said about the Raptors, I say about the Heat. They're a tough team. They're deep. They're big. They're strong. But then the Celtics go in and dismantle the Raptors in the first two games. So now I'm not so sure. I would love to see Celtics Heat because I think Jimmy Butler is just like a fun guy to play against, and I think a lot of like Celtics fans and I think there'd be a lot of animosity there. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a lot of fun. And the Bucks, man, they're good, but they just bore me. I don't want to watch. I don't want to.
Wait, isn't that what Joe Sway said?
No, Jimmy and I are the Raptors.
No, he said the Raptors bored him.
All right. So the two top
seeds
fans in the East.
Yeah, Giannis is I always fall asleep when he's playing. Yeah,
I'm not a Giannis fan. I think he's boring.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, you said that before, though. That's true. I strongly disagree.
Take a pause here, guys. I'm gonna play the Nick Nurse comment. Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, I just see him as unfortunate, Doug. To be honest with you, I mean, I think Smart fouled the shit out of him on the one. So there's one for you, and then.
Anyone hear that? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Yep. I couldn't.
I think it was a foul.
He said Smart fouled Jimmy. I know you couldn't hear it. He said Smart. I think Smart's fouled the shit out of him. Talking about Siakam drive in the fourth. So he's complaining about the officiating. Yeah.
You know what? That's
I mean, they got the out of bounds call.
That's the mark of a losing team that's in panic mode. Starting to reach, look for excuses.
There's a little more.
Not the reason.
I'm gonna find you another one. Yeah.
Shout out to Fred Hoiberg for real.
Yeah, he's
I like that.
Definitely he's the coach of the year. Doesn't like being out coached, I guess. I got another one. You guys keep talking. I'm going to bring you another soundbite too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're.
So that's the play where he was going out of bounds, and they did the whole replay on the out of bounds call, right?
Yeah.
Bobby,
he thought he
felt worried about the Bucks. Chris Middleton goes off, and they still lost. Like. That's been the biggest question. If he can be consistent in the playoffs, it gives you a huge game, and you couldn't get a win out of that. Yeah. I don't know about the Bucks, man. I don't know.
Here's some more Nick Nurse. Okay.
The only frustrating part about it is he shoots 14 free throws, which is as much as our whole team shoots. That's the frustrating part. I mean, I think our guys were working hard on him, and we were doing a pretty good job. He did make some good shots. They were obviously getting him the ball a lot, getting him in space. We could have helped a little bit better here and there, but they took very good care of him tonight.
That's talking about Jason Tatum. They took good care of Jason Tatum. He shot 14 free throws. Nick Nurse is upset.
Wow.
Have you ever heard Stevens do that?
Wow.
That's
Nick
the
Nurse
friggin'
third time. Never got that.
Are you kidding me? Look, and again, trying to look at this in a totally non-homery way. Yeah, Tatum gets calls. Tatum also not gets calls. He went to the hole. He got hit a bunch. I don't know. I mean, that didn't stand out to me as like a, wow, Tatum got all the calls sort of thing. I just felt like that's what was happening. But I don't know. I mean, I guess Celtics have been on the losing end of a lot of free throw battles. In the past, not this team, but a lot of Celtics teams because of the style of play. Teams that only shot from the perimeter and this and that. But you attack the basket, you're going to get fouls called. And, I mean, Tatum was very aggressive tonight, and most of that stuff was right around the basket.
Nick Nurse should watch the film because his team wasn't even nearly close to the aggressiveness that they needed to have in the first half when they took 0 free throws, not because they never got fouled, because they weren't aggressive. They weren't going to the rim. They weren't doing what they needed to do to get to the line. So don't go crying about calls on the other end when you guys could get the same calls if you actually did the freaking homework and drop to the rim.
I love it. I drink this guy's tears right now. This is terrific. I want more of it.
This is brutal. This is classic panic mode. This is classic what you do. You start playing the blame game. You know, it's everyone's fault but your own team. You know what? Brad Stevens, he doesn't have post-game comments like that, really. I mean, that I can remember where he's going after the refs or he's taking slights at other teams' players.
Nick Nurse is in a dark place right now, okay?
Am I wrong? They got a good whistle in this one.
Nick Nurse has left the bubble. We're going to get
Nick Nurse is in a really – I think the lasting image is going to be from first quarter of game one.
Nick Nurse.
Oh, yeah, the classic.
Oh, boy, yeah.
All right, I'll say this, Joe Sway.
Fuck.
Maybe Nick Nurse was complaining to the refs on the final play of the game where he forgot to call a timeout and drop a play for his own team to potentially tie the game. I mean, clearly this guy's head's back in Toronto.
Let me bring it back to the Bucks because we're laughing at Nick Nurse today. If we see the Bucks in the East Finals, we'll be doing the Nick Nurse on at least one of those shows.
I mean, Giannis will get about 20, 24 free throws a night. That's true.
Look, that's the thing. And again, that's why it's like, right, with both Giannis and then Harden, but specifically Giannis, it's almost impossible not to foul him,
Right.
Because I mean, that's why I think Jimmy and I are on the same page with this Giannis thing. It's not that he's not amazing. He's amazing, but it's just he can simply Euro step around you when you have position and force you to make contact with him in a way that you're going to draw the foul. He's just too long. He starts to move and you can't stay in front of him because he can step around anybody. And so he's going to get contact every time he goes to the basket. It feels boring because the outcome is already
it's boring.
It's boring because you're like
not how
it really feels like a dad playing with little kids.
Was Shaq boring?
I don't think LeBron was boring. Take away the jump shot.
LeBron didn't feel the same. Jimmy, back me up.
I was gonna say it's just not the way basketball was intended to be played. It's not really a knock on Giannis. That's just he's the Greek freak for a reason, right? But listen, people love Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those guys because that's how basketball was like
stylish,
invented to be exactly.
It's finesse overpower. It's LeBron versus Michael. Same thing. These are both entertaining.
Yeah. Well, maybe again, it's subjective, but like Kobe was artistic, and like there was so much degree of difficulty to what he did. Where Giannis looks like a bully. But it's not that. It's almost like watching baseball and watching a guy who's got 150-mile-an-hour fastball. He's going to strike everybody out, and it's going to be boring as shit. It doesn't mean he's not amazing, and like it's amazing that he throws 150 miles an hour. It's just boring. And that's what Jimmy and I are kind of like with Giannis. Is like, yeah, he's going to just walk to the basket and score.
I got you. I just like to see the Celtics take down, like the whole David and Goliath situation. Like that was who LeBron was for so many years, right, for the Celtics, and then now it's Giannis, and then. I mean, yeah, it was only one playoff series last year, but it feels like there's always that guy in the Celtics' way. And I would love to see the Celtics take that guy out on the stage, and get to the front.
I would have still gone. I stand by the Olynyk pick, though.
Olynyk over Giannis?
Trade up, pass Giannis. Trade up for him. Draft Olynyk. You got your guy.
Olynyk needs to drop 30 in one of these games just to say, hey I was working.
We're getting Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook as a test in the first round out west. We're getting the Olynyk Giannis series right now to decide that.
Yeah, if Olynyk does anything, it's gonna be cripple Giannis in this series. That's
don't sleep on a Celtics Heat like budding rivalry if the two get to that in the Eastern Conference, because those are two teams that are kind of lined up for success here. And I'm telling you, Jimmy Butler is like he's one of those players that can really get under your skin, and I think a lot of fans would like. He's kind of like Dwayne Wade. You know, I'll make the comparison because they're both Heat players. Where like a lot of Celtics fans could not stand Dwayne Wade. He was sneaky, dirty. He was so good. You know, he'd kill you.
I like that comparison
ways out there. And Jimmy Butler's kind of that similar player. He's kind of like a hard ass, tough guy, get up in your face, and I think that would be a fun series. And the Bucks just put me to sleep. They just put me to sleep. I'll say it. I don't, you know.
Miami's depth is the real deal. I don't know about Milwaukee's. All the numbers say they're great. Their bench is phenomenal when they're off the court. It's a Toronto-like thing. I look at those guys and I say Eric Bledsoe, who's actually hurt right now.
Yeah,
George Hill's phenomenal. He's killed the Celtics in the past. And then you got like a Marvin Williams.
Middleton shoots 87% against the Celtics.
Right.
I was watching that game yesterday. I don't even think he hit the rim. Everything was just splash.
Yeah.
Oh. It looked like
so underrated.
He couldn't miss if he took 1,000 shots yesterday.
Yeah, but Miami also has outside touch. I mean, that can really, really crush the Celtics. You know, obviously their fast break play as well. The Celtics, they're good in guarding and defending in transition. But once the three-pointers start flying, that's when the floor really opens up. And you look at Duncan Robinson. I mean, man, these guys can shoot. Jay Crowder's another one. Olynyk can get going, of course.
They're phenomenal.
That can shoot threes, but also someone like Duncan Robinson, if he gets going, he can send you home almost as good as Marcus Smart did tonight, right?
Almost.
Well, I guess we're previewing the next series.
Well, look what you did. That's not what I wanted to do.
I'm keeping this going. There's a lot of people watching right now, so I kind of like it. But what
do we got for numbers?
There's 650 right now live
what up, team?
Just on YouTube. That's not counting Twitter and all the other spots. So there's people out there. I just don't know what else.
A lot of people are just hyped up after a game. I think there's a lot of Celtics fans who maybe have thought the Celtics were this good, but you know they're Celtics fans, and maybe a lot of the experts who had the Raptors in this series.
Well, let me ask you guys this: what do we say if Toronto wins this tonight? They just scrap it out by a hair, by 1 point.
You mean
I already told you what I would say. I already told you what I would say. I would say the Celtics played like crap and still could have won this game, and I still like them in the series. And they almost tried to give the Raptors the game tonight, and the Raptors didn't take it. To me, the Raptors are done. This is how I felt after Game 1, Celtics Sixers. I had the hard hat on. This is my hard hat. This is my series over hard hat. I only wear it when the Celtics are going to win the series, and I put it on tonight because I saw. I
think you're right.
I saw enough.
I think you're right. I think you're right that the series is over. I don't think the series is done being close. I said when Game 1 was done, that was the last blood of the series. Yeah. The Celtics are going to have to earn 2 more wins, and this will definitely still go 6, I believe, at least.
Wait, you backing up?
I'm not sweet.
You're backing.
How about this? Your next appearance on the show could be Game 6, okay?
Yeah.
I promise.
I'm just saying, how easily could Toronto have won this? And we're talking about 1-1.
Okay.
Easily. That's the whole point. It wasn't easy for them. They scrapped and they clawed their way to a loss. They did everything they could to win this game, and they still lost. That's what I get out of this game. And the Celtics played like dog shit. Kemba Walker was horrific for 3.5 quarters. Jason Tatum did everything, and then Marcus Smart was unconscious for about 5 minutes. That's why the Celtics won this game.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do.
I think this is about your hat.
Smart might be able to keep it going, too.
I am a stripper, too, if you stick around long enough. You might get lucky.
Everything is tearaway for Jimmy right now.
All right, I'm going to head up.
It's all tearaway.
Yeah. Yeah, very easily.
Tweet it out. 800 for Jimmy.
Hey, I might have a couple in me on Thursday night. If the Celtics win that one, stick around. We'll see what I might start the show shirtless.
I expect you coming here with a couple in you each time. That's prescribed.
All right,
Jimmy,
let's do it.
A couple will have to go down the hatch late because it's going to go right down the wire again.
We're out of gas. We're talking about
Bobby's
Jimmy's
praying.
chance.
Bobby's praying for a Raptors win. I want everyone to know that. Bobby is praying for a Raptors win.
We're talking about Jimmy Stein.
You know what they're gonna do to Toronto if they lose in 4 or 5 here? They're gonna go, oh, they were frauds. Oh, they were.
Nothing. They'll literally do nothing because basketball barely exists up there, and they're just going to go talk about.
No. Definitely not the Toronto people, but around the country, they've been waiting to call this team frauds. And you know what? For 2 games, they're right. We'll see what happens in Game 3.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Wait, real quick, while we got people, we got Denver, Utah tonight, Game 7. I mean, what's your prediction, Bob, Mr. Basketball Brain?
Utah's done. Utah's done.
Agreed.
Utah's done.
Jamal Murray's a
After
bad
what
man.
You think so?
Man.
It's hard not to root for him.
Gobert can't pick up that screen and step back. He's been exposed.
Mitchell, though.
Mitchell's been great.
I can't not root for Murray right now. Whether or not I think they're going to win, I want to see it. I'm just. It feels like there's something special going on there. I know Mitchell's been out of his mind too. Gobert can, whatever.
Gobert's been awful. He's a big reason they're losing this series right now.
He's going to be on that team next year.
And everything like that, it drives me crazy. I've never been a Gobert guy.
Daniel Tice, better
you don't
block
like
percentage
Gobert.
this year.
You don't like big men who get overrated for their defense.
Yeah, and I think Gobert could be as much a liability. It doesn't matter, but yeah, we'll see what happens in that game. The 3 of us will be back for Game 3. We'll see Bobby for Game 6, and we'll see what happens. What time? What do we have for the next game start time?
I don't know if they've announced it yet.
6:30.
No, it's 6:30.
6:30. 6:30 on Thursday?
They haven't announced Game 4 yet.
Closing thoughts?
If there will be a Game 4.
Oh, yeah. Celtics in 3, right?
Celtics in 3 was my prediction. All right.
Nick Nurse has left the bubble after Game 3. He will not be coaching Game 4.
He's just going to walk home like this. The whole way home.
Poor Nick Nurse, man. Poor Nick Nurse. He's still crying in his cereal.
I'll tell you, if this goes to 3-0, I might need a night off.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for that.
Oh yeah, you'll take the.
Like I said, if it goes to 3-0, we'll just press play on the back half of this show.
No, let's start the 4th quarter. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We got to do it one of these games.
I think we're out of gas. So for everybody,
closing thoughts.
I mean, we've kind of said them all, but I mean, all right.
One more.
Go ahead.
Anything else going on under the helmet?
Yeah, what else you got?
My closing thought is just rest in peace, Raptors. That's my closing thought. Thanks, Faye. They did the listen. It's hard to defend a title. It's hard to defend a title no matter what. It's even harder to do it in the middle of a pandemic. So good on them for trying, but they're out.
All right, Bobby, closing thought.
Would the Raptors have done it without the bubble? I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I said it all show. They spared almost all the adjustments you could think of in this one. Getting out harder, getting it to the corners, getting it to Gasol on the roll, using Siakam more on Kemba. They did it all. It still didn't go well for them. And their closing effort was a disaster. And I don't know how that's going to get any better.
Yeah. This way?
The Siakam game. Does it translate a win? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm predicting, 25, 26 out of Siakam. I just think that's the next option for these guys. And then you go from there. Get him going. You want some more of that Fred VanVleet you saw, in the first quarter.
Fred VanVleet.
The best you can to maximize that. And, of course, what we saw in the second unit, OG.
Nick Nurse wants free throws.
Not the second unit, but OG helping that second unit out.
Yeah.
I think you might see another nail biter in Game 3, though. I think.
Yeah, for me, it's don't get cocky. No, meaning we can get cocky, but I'm saying don't.
Sure.
They've played through stretches of this game like they kind of figured I could play. I could play like shit and we'll make up for it. You don't want to go through another game of it because you're just inviting the possibility of losing. I think it's a foot on the gas sort of scenario.
Sure.
This is a finish him sort of moment, which is don't let him up. If you're going to play one great game, I mean, you already played a great one in Game 1. Make Game 3 your best game of the series, and that's it. Come out like you're like it's Game 7. And if they do that again, I don't see it. But again, this is it. Toronto's last stand. So we'll see what happens. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. There's a lot of action in here. We like it. We'll be back for Game 3. I think the whole cast. Maybe we'll add some more. Josue Pavone from Heavy.com, Jimmy Toscano, Bobby Manning, Celtics blog, CLNS Media. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.